Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Misadventures of McScott. With me here today, we've got
Mark.
Yay! And Scott, and I'm Scott. So
Yeah, we're finally on YouTube, dude. We're legit.
I know, yeah. We're
legit. We've got a Facebook page, which I didn't create.
Yeah.
Thanks to Pete for that website as well. The MILF Club. Was it the McScott International Loyal Fan Club?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how he came up with that name.
Jesus. Especially when there's two dudes who's actually doing that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Absolutely not. Yay, high five. First off, let's give a shout out to everyone who's actually given us feedback for the first couple eps that we put out there.
Thanks, guys.
Feedback is always great.
We love being mistreated and abused.
Oh, scathing feedback, but
More. Give us more.
oh, I know.
And maybe we'll use some of it to actually improve the show, but
Yeah,
just give us bad feedback. Anyway.
yeah, I know. Some people just said, "No, I didn't like it." End of
No,
feedback.
Not for me.
End of feedback. Well, thanks.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah, I know. Feedback like that is good, but it's kind of dead end. Tell us what you didn't like. Why didn't you like it? Why don't you like that Scott fella? No, that's Scott fella.
Tell us more about why you loved Mark. Yeah. Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she sounds hot.
It's that time of year again, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Beauty and the Geek's on.
Oh, yes. This is a topic that I...
Close to your heart?
very close. And painful.
What happened last year?
It was painful.
Just sing it.
I didn't want to tell anyone this. I really didn't.
Yeah.
But I have to. Because I've been
his
strong
voice says that, but his face says the opposite.
I've been held at gunpoint here, blackmail, and I have to tell this story. So here goes.
No, especially that smile. That's
Okay.
I didn't know you smile at gunpoint.
Yeah, it's tears. Oh, please don't kill me. Anyways, here goes. I tried out for Beauty and the Geek. There, I said it. Kill me.
Okay, so it didn't work out as a beauty. How did it go as a geek?
Yes, very good. In America, this started in America. It's a social experiment where they bring together a group of, I guess, uber nerds, glasses, short, skinny. There's an audition process. Like, they audition out the smart, beautiful people, and they bring in, like, bimbos. Well, I don't want to say well, okay, bimbos. Hot.
And your phrase was, they are as hot as they are dumb.
So anyways, I guess there was a casting session for the first series last year. And so I decided, you know what? It'd be interesting for me to try. I'm not your typical super hunk.
You give yourself so little credit, Scott. Give yourself so little credit.
If you can imagine Urkel, all right, and then turn him into an Asian fellow. So anyways, I went along with a couple of my friends. He got the audition form the night before the day of the auditions. So, like, it was a...
Do you have to fill in a form for this?
You had to...
So how did the beauties manage?
Yeah, they had to hire, like, a lawyer or something. It was so I guess
it's multiple choice, isn't it? Your name is Ashley, Tiffany.
They all sound like stripper names. Candy. So there was an audition session at Darling Harbour. First half of the day, they casted as many geeks as possible, and there were multiple interview stages.
Was this premeditated or on the spot?
It was sort of premeditated. Beauty and Geek was coming to Australia. We didn't give it a second thought. And then when my mate, he saw that Channel 7 was holding a casting. And so we thought, oh, yeah, sounds kind of interesting. Ha, 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 ha. Should we do it? I don't know. I guess we managed to all convince each other that, it'd be a good thing to...
I'm just trying to understand. Between the three of you, what in your minds made you think you were qualified, you were geek enough to go on this show?
Okay, well, we were all engineers. We all wear glasses.
No.
And we don't have, I guess, really super lean cut bodies, all right? We all have, I guess, each one of us had a geeky interest,
What's your geeky
be it computer games or be it, that's it. Computer games.
So none of the actual constructive pursuits like mathematics or literature.
Well,
literature.
None, yeah.
It's questionable.
I guess music wouldn't be really, I guess, a geeky aspect of it. I mean, there are geek musicians.
The ones that are really into classical.
Yeah, I guess that type. Oh, you also needed a talent. Now, this was where it got a little tricky for me because I brought nothing to the table because I didn't think I'd make it.
If you said your talent was playing the guitar, you would have been kicked out onto the street
Exactly. It would have been, you're a musician? No, thank you.
Sorry,
get out of
this
here.
is too cool.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I should have brought?
Rubik's Cube.
A Rubik. No, but I suck at those. So it's Beauty and the Geek and the Idiot. My mate wanted to do a magic trick, like with cards. So I was like, oh, that's brilliant. That is a brilliant idea.
Okay,
That
so
is
what
a
made the other two feel that they were qualified for being a geek?
Oh, we didn't really think we'd make it past the first stage of interviews. Oh, man, and the caliber of people there.
You were up against some stiff competition, weren't you?
I was! Seriously, there was a dude who was like... this guy actually made it onto the show. He was there and he had balloon crap happening. He had those, like, you know those clown balloons?
Yes.
And so I was making requests. Can I have a puppy dog? I'd like a hat, please.
I bet you couldn't do.
Yeah, a carousel. Like Luke Perry on The Simpsons. So, my talent was the moonwalk. Now, as cool as that sounds, what I did was I broke it down into...
Actually, that could work.
What the mechanics of the moonwalk was. Which hip you had to raise and which leg you had to pull back in a synchronized...
Can you actually moonwalk?
No, I can't. Can't do it for crap.
Oh, God.
Very engineer-wise,
Oh,
exactly.
nice,
And I was
nice,
gonna
okay.
break down.
Use formulas.
Yeah, and like I break it down. So instead of how like people can just naturally do it, but I was gonna break down into the work instruction sheet, a WIS of how to do the moonwalk. Okay, so you got to take one step forward, but you got to rotate opposite hip backwards. All right.
But anyway, underestimated you.
I'm sure. So anyway, my talents are pale in comparison to what this guy can do. Oh, and what I wore was interesting. I'm also into anime. Oh, that's kind of nerdy, I guess. For those who don't know what anime is, it's a Japanese cartoon animation. And
you want to compete against the balloon guy, and you're using anime to do it.
I should have dressed up.
You're going to need to cosplay.
Yep. I wore Eva
Preferably women.
And so I made it to the second stage interviews.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and like my other two mates didn't.
It's because you're kind of shorter, so you automatically win points that way.
Oh, speaking of my height, all right, they had to do a little promo shoot when we were lining up before we did our interviews. From a whole line of people, they pulled me out. I'm serious.
Were you the shortest guy there?
I think I was.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they pulled the shortest guy out. But the camera was situated at such a high level, they needed to give me a box to stand on.
The Ja Rule factor.
Yeah, the Tom Cruise standing on a box factor, yeah? Like, it's ridiculous. Hilarious now. They spent 20 minutes looking for a box for me to stand on. because
they wanted you that bad.
They wanted me that bad. I was flattered, but immensely insulted at the same time. It was ridiculous. There were chairs and tables around, but they were too high. The camera would have seen it. So they needed a specifically sized box for me to stand on. All right. I literally said this. I said, could that guy lie down and I can stand on it?
What they should have done. They should have put a model on a chair and you should have been sitting on a lap.
And where was her other hand then? Man, this ventriloquist is really good. So anyways, I don't even know if they used it or not. Well, I probably didn't because I didn't get through to...
No, they didn't use it because you were Asian.
I could argue with you on that because the first season of Beauty and Geek Australia had 2 Asian guys on it. Yeah, there were 2 Asian guys. They were the first to get booted off, but they were...
Actually, maybe I'm being unfair though, because maybe it's not an Asian factor. It's because white people are they're actually more likely to turn up to events like this.
And you can't depend on a minority to show up on time. Thank you.
It's just that they wouldn't respond to these things, you know?
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, you're right, because I do remember from the turnout of about 100 or so people, I guess 10% were minorities. I gotta say, like, they weren't all just Asian. There was a couple of, I guess, subcontinentals. The majority was very white. So anyways, I was one of the last guys to leave. So, saw some of the beauties and I was like, God damn, this is heaven. So this is what it must feel, all right, after I've clicked that button, gone to heaven, and there's 42 of these.
Oh, 42 geeks? So did you have an interactive with them?
No, you weren't supposed. They don't want potential contestants to meet each other before the actual show because they want to get the facial reactions. You can only get first impressions once. My interviews and things dragged on till about 3:30, and I don't even know if I made it.
It's an exam, isn't it?
It felt like a horrible day of interview questions, and I didn't realize that it was so late already, and all these women just like rocked up, And I gotta say, I don't want to use the S word, but I'll use it. Skankalicious. Who likes short shorts?
They like short guys.
Then I'm a surefire winner.
You'll wrap yourself around their legs anytime.
How's the weather up there? So anyways, some of these chicks are very hot. Again, I don't want to bring it back to the racial thing, but I have to because they were all white, some Middle Eastern, very few Asians, very few subcontinentals.
Like they were trying out.
They were like there. There was a much bigger turnout for women than there were for guys. And so some of them, there were like women everywhere, and there was a few stragglers like away from like the main group, trying to like, I don't know, rehearse or whatever, whatever the hell they were doing. And so I was thinking, okay, cool, some of these chicks are pretty hot. And I started just randomly, I said, oh, hey, you trying out for the Beauty and the Geek thing? And so I was like, we're talking for about, at most, maybe 5-10 minutes, all right? And I think one of the executive producers or whatever came out, and I think he saw me chatting to a chick. I didn't notice this, and, he walked past me, and I was like, oh, hey, man.
Oh, yeah, that's real geekish.
No, because we made eye contact, I was like, oh, hey, man, because, like, I don't want to be rude. No.
God, you don't know anything, do you? You have to look like you got Asperger's.
Yeah. So, the fact that I actually was, A, talking to one of these girls, all right, and B, was not socially retarded.
Minus points.
Yeah. Because I think he saw that, and then he automatically made a mental check, all right, say goodbye to this guy. Mental note, don't use this guy.
He just got a red marker and just crossed it on your face.
Yeah. He probably walked, he walked past me, then walked back again, straight back to the office to take my application form into the shredder. So that's what that noise was when I was walking out. That
was your dreams going up in smoke.
So that was my interview for Beauty and the Geek. Thanks for bringing up old wounds.
On the subject of like geek television, have you seen that Nerds FC program before?
I've heard of Nerds FC,
Nerds FC, right?
I've heard of it.
They got a lot of people from Sydney Uni and UNSW. They just grabbed a whole bunch of nerds. We'll play soccer. You'll be on TV. You'll be famous. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then, so what happens is they actually got nerds from computing. Like I did computing in this uni, and you actually see these people walking around uni. Now the thing is, all those people on Nerds FC, there was actually a variety of cultures on Nerds FC.
Yeah.
You had subcontinentals, you had Asians, you had white people, you had Jewish people, you had Russians, all different types of people.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Geek?
Well, you know what that means?
Nerds FC was just putting it on.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's SBS, it was screened on SBS. They have to be multicultural.
Yep.
Well, all the other races, they're not really that smart. It's the white people that are smart.
Yeah, definitely. That's why they rule the world.